Okay, if you haven't listened to part 1 of our interview with Nick Verreos, stop here. Right there.
Go back.
Go back and listen to part 1. This is part 2, the second half of our amazing interview with Nick, and it just keeps getting even better.
And now we're getting into Project Runway. We are in the thick of it.
Our partners and friends at Isomers Skincare are still here to help you feel and look your best in the skin that you're in. No matter your age, no matter your skincare want or need, they have got you covered. Isomers has real chemistry. They are science-based skincare created by chemists to bring the best ingredients and the best results to your skin. What you're going to do is go to isomers.ca, use the code HAPPY20, and you're going to get 20% off your purchase. If you spend $100 or more, it's free shipping and handling, so enjoy. That's isomers.ca.
And somebody approaches her and taps her on the shoulder and says, are you a designer? And again, we were like, there were 400 people, we were like 328. Yeah. And so somebody taps her on the shoulder and says, are you a designer? She goes, no, he is. And then she goes, come with me.
You got the tap on the shoulder.
We did.
Oh,
so we got the tap. Oh my God. Erin, mouth keeps open. She is going to let so many flies in.
It's because, Nick, you have no idea how obsessed I was with Project Runway. Like, no idea. I mean, it was like
to this day.
Bible.
Yes.
My Bible, yes. Yes, so anyway, carry on. Mm-hmm.
And it was so early on that I am, again, and I'll talk about, I'm so humbled, and I love the fact that we were there so early on.
Yes.
Because it was when people started falling in love with the show, because it was only season 2. It was a heyday. So anyway, so then we went up, and all of a sudden, and again, I was kind of, I don't want to say I was embarrassed, but I just didn't want anybody to I thought I was going to be in a line with my students.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you. Yes.
Students.
Oh, yes. Like on par with that. Yeah.
Yes. And you're their teacher. Yeah.
I may have put sunglasses, but I was, I wasn't, stop. I wasn't doing this, but I was sort of like, maybe the aura, the vibe I was giving was this.
Downplaying.
Because I didn't want to be embarrassed. I didn't want somebody in line be like, Professor Nick, like, why are you here? Like, you're above, like,
here. Why are you here?
Like, why are you? Anyway, so I was kind of like this. Anyway, this will make sense in about 30 seconds. We got up, the person that pulled us aside, all of a sudden she turns to us, and then she had a little, what I call the Britney Spears mic, the Janet Jackson, is it lavalier?
Right.
The lavalier? The lavalier.
The performance mic. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And she's like this, and then she looks at me, she goes, Professor Nick? And I was like, and I kind of recognized, she goes, I was a student of yours. You were my favorite effing teacher. Yes. I love all my, and she goes, before she could finish the sentence, she got on the mic, she goes, we have Nick Verreos, a very top LA fashion designer. He's going up right now.
Yes. Yes.
Front of the line. Here we go.
So good.
Once again, like I thought it was going to be an embarrassing thing to run into a former student of mine, etc. And it happened to be a blessing. Yes. We went up. We were put in a holding room, and there were like 3 other people waiting. We were going to be like the 4th ones next, and then you'd be walked into the judges, very like American Idol, Yes. And my mom, and let me just tell you, I was the only one who brought a model.
Brilliant.
And there's Amara. We're in the holding room. She looks around, and I have all my gowns, my dresses. She's wearing the day dress, and she's like, and all of a sudden she just slithers it off and is naked. And I'm like, Amara, what are you doing? She goes, you only have one effing chance.
Oh, she wanted to show the other pieces.
She said, give me the bias cut silk charmeuse freaking gown now.
Yes, you did, Amara.
Was that the showstopper?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, give me the backless bias cut cowl back strappy.
Yes.
I mean, honey.
And what color?
It was like, I would say it was like a copper gold color. And imagine that against this deep, dark chocolate skin. I mean, everything, 6 foot tall.
Phenomenal.
The whole thing. And so then it was like, okay, Nick, you're up. And we walked in. I walked in. There she walked in, and she did her thing. And then I, it said something about myself. I'm a designer. I'm also an instructor. This is my gown. She turned around, and all of a sudden, Tim Gunn right in front of me. He turns. He goes, "We love you." He goes, "You're in." I was like, oh,
just like that.
Just like that. And so that was it. And so then, before I knew it, 6 months later, I was off to New York and to be on the show. And it was such a new, again, it was season 2. They were so new that, get this, I brought my stuff. Yeah. And, my toolbox, the same toolbox that I had when I went to test as a pattern maker. And I brought my blocks, my pattern blocks.
Yes.
Because, again, they're sort of kind of like, the beginnings of something. And I thought, these could help me. And so then I kept asking the producers, this is before the show, they give you about 4 days before they start the show. They held us like in this hotel room, sure, each separately, And so I was there, but I was like, I don't want to be caught cheating. And so I just want to like give you a heads up that I brought these things that we call pattern blocks. I just want to make sure they're okay. Because I don't want to be caught on camera with Tim Gunn. All of a sudden, I don't want any drama because, again, my great aunt is Margot Fontaine. This can't happen.
And don't you forget it, Tim, Mr. Gunn.
And what were the rules? Like, what was considered taboo, or what things couldn't people bring?
Nothing.
Because it was season 2.
Becky,
we didn't even know.
Because in season 2, there was nothing. They literally they just said, bring your tool. They basically said, bring your toolbox, fabric shears, pattern shears, this ruler and this ruler and this ruler. And that was basically it. It was so early on, right, that they just, and the funny thing now, cut to 30 years later, David and I are consulting producers of the show. If you only know, I wish I had it with me. We have a list that is 4 pages long
of no-nos
of what they can bring and what they can't bring. Like, it has gotten to be like, it's ridiculous that even now, even I think, like, you don't need, hot glue for latex. You don't need, it's like, we had a winner a couple seasons ago who literally, he showed up with 4 things and he won.
Yes.
Like, that's all you need. Yeah. Right. But we've gotten because every year, it's like we open up a little window, the door, and then it just keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed. And so things keep getting added to it. And it's like, oh, they can bring they can't bring but back in season 2, there was nothing. And so literally, we were in front of Parsons. I'm going to just picture the scene.
What a dream.
All of us designers were standing there in front of oh my God, I know. I was just like, I was about to cry.
The Mecca.
And in front of Parsons, there's Heidi, there's Tim. We're filming the introduction of the season 2 of Project Runway. It was such a moment. I can see it with me right here. And the sound guys, and they're all off to the side. We're standing there, and I'm just like, I can't believe.
And you haven't done any TV. This is your first TV.
No, nothing. Yeah. The first ever. And again, and then, but all I kept thinking, I was like, okay, we're literally, this is it. Like, we're about to start the show. I really need to tap somebody on the shoulder to tell them again about all I was worried about was the pattern blocks, those damn blocks. And so, okay, we filmed the introduction. This designer, think of like designers. Welcome to Parsons.
She's so fabulous.
So fabulous. We filmed it, and finally, I was like, okay, there's a moment, there's a beat, we're not filming. And so then I went up to one of the executive producers and I tapped him on the shoulder and I was like, hey, the pattern blocks.
I'm going to need an answer.
Could I get this in writing, please? Maybe in your own blood.
I know I signed my contract and all, and but like, I'm not going to be on the show unless you tell me now. Yeah. And he goes, oh yeah, it was sort of a total afterthought. Then he pulls Tim aside, and because at the time, there wasn't even the job that I have now as a consultant. That job wasn't there. It was Tim Gunn.
Tim did everything.
It was like, Tim was the so because, these are TV producers. These are people that know how to produce, film, a show, but even though it is a show about fashion, I guess they just turned to him and be like, hey, you know, what's a princess bodice?
Yeah.
You know, like what?
Is this okay?
Is this okay? And so that's what they did. So he turned around. I literally was watching it happen.
Oh my gosh.
And he turned to Tim and he goes, Nick wants to know if he can bring pattern blocks. Yeah. Like, is that like, can you bring that on the show? And of course he's like, no, you can't bring those. Yeah. No. So thank God. So literally, because I literally had them with me. And so I was like, yes. And so I was like, perfect. I'll put them back in my suitcase. And that was the end of that. And wouldn't you know it, that here we are now 30 years later and, you know, talking about all the supplies, all the stuff that we need and, you know, and all of that. But it was so amazing. Like I said, again, I loved doing the show. We were right we didn't know how big it would become because season 1, some people watched it, but it was kind of like underground. It was on Bravo. But at the time, Bravo was a network. If you don't remember, Bravo was a network that only showed old movies.
That's right.
And then Project Runway. And so then, you know, it's like, it was sort of like it was kind of like an indie show, not many people. But when season 2 came out, that's when it hit.
It did.
And we just happened to be right there. And it was so early on. This is before Twitter. This is before Facebook. Like
it's before Instagram, so late, yes.
All of that. I was so late that I remember like the show had started and somebody's like, you need to start a Twitter. And I was like, what? What is it? It just started. Like it just started. Yeah. And I went, somebody had already taken my name.
Stop it.
So who were you on Twitter then?
Somebody took my
Margot
name.
Fontaine.
So I should have. Then I had to take Nick Verreos 1.
Yeah. Wait, so
it was...
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. If anybody, because like Dancing with the Stars right now is having a renaissance. We'll get through how Project Runway was off the air. They're back in their kind of renaissance era. But for people who did not watch the original Project Runway,
there was nothing bigger.
Specifically season 2, because that is when you need to figure out a way to go back and watch it, because that was, in my mind, I mean, that was the way you were describing Venezuela back in the 70s. That's how I remember like Project Runway season 2, like the glamour, the excitement. And there wasn't yet this like playbook of reality TV that I think viewers are used to and contestants are used to.
That's
it was truly like authentic.
You were creating it.
Geniuses creating this. I mean, now just an amazing iconic
When
show.
we see Nina, Tim, Heidi, we just assume it.
Yes.
This was the first time that it even happened.
So when did you know that, oh my gosh, this is huge? Like, when was it? During filming? Was it afterwards? Like, how did you know?
Not during filming. And all of that happened. We filmed for, I would say like, oh God, it was like a month and a half, maybe 5-6 weeks, but it happened so fast because it was challenge after challenge after challenge. It was just that quick. It seemed that quick. And I remember even like when we would walk to Mood or walk to whatever, we'd leave Parsons. We would just walk with Tim Gunn. Yeah. The designers. There was me, Andre. Where's Andre?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Santino. And we'd be literally, because nobody knew who Tim Gunn was. Yeah. Nobody knew who. So literally, it was that easy where we would just walk through this. And I remember, the tourists would be like, "What are you guys filming?" And Santino being crazy, he's like, "We're doing a porn movie." And I was like, No, we're going to Mood. We're walking to Mood.
You're like, I'm a Panamanian diplomat. You can't say that about me. Excuse me.
We really had no idea. We filmed it, and then it was then when the show started, where all of a sudden, quickly word got out that it was the show to watch, and it just became berserk crazy. And by the time then we had to come back, the designers had the finalists had to come back to film the New York Fashion Week show, and we had to film the reunion. And then I was one of 3 of the everybody came thinking, oh, we're going to do the reunion and have a party and go out drinking and partying. And then there was a twist where the 3 final designers had to pick a helper to help them make one look Like they had to make their own. And of course, I got picked.
Obviously.
And I was like,
that's what you get for being the best, buddy.
like, I literally had I was ready for every hot club in New York to go to.
Yes.
Like
Every
you're put on
dirty
punishment.
martini. Mm-hmm. No, you got to work.
David, you know, my partner at the time, he got to go partying while I was like working, but we knew that it was huge because it was like everybody was just talking about it. We were being recognized on the streets. We couldn't even walk on the streets. And then, of course, when it all ended, when the show happened, it was so crazy that all the, you know, the press, they wanted to talk to us. They wanted to do this. They wanted to do that and do this. And I was, again, I don't know, my mama done taught me right. But, you know, it was one of those things where like, no shoulda, woulda, coulda. And it was funny because we had when the show premiered, David and I, we had our friends threw us a big viewing party. And I remember and it was just 100 people, but one of them was a friend of our former friend, because he sort of turned to me and he was like, you better start clocking your 15 minutes, honey.
Like it was short-lived.
Oh, ew. We don't want that as a friend anyway.
So it was like
jealousy is not cute.
Yeah, no, it wasn't pretty. That's why I say it was a former friend. But what it did, Erin and Becky, it lit a fire in my booty.
Yeah, good for
and
you.
And it just, I was like, I'm gonna prove.
Yes.
How do you spell Ama?
I-M-M-A.
Yep. Thank you.
I'm a gonna
prove you wrong.
And boy, did you.
And so that sort of lit that in me. And so I knew. And so then when the PR people, the PR department of Bravo started calling, like, you need to do this, you need to do this, or we have a request for an interview with Minnesota, with Minnesota newspaper, with Kentucky, with this. A lot of the winner and the top, a lot of the actual finalists, because I was fifth I was top 5 out of whatever, how many. They were, no, I'm not talking to Minnesota St. Paul newspaper. I'm not gonna. And little Nikki was a $2 hooker.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere, honey.
And I said yes.
Hell yes.
To anybody who asked.
Hell yes. Yes.
Stop. And, lesson to the kids. Here's a lesson. Lesson number 1. I think I've already given out a few lessons, few nuggets there. But one of them is, no shoulda, woulda, coulda is one. And this one, be a good $2 hooker. Yes. And
better hustle.
Say and better hustle. Yes. And say yes. And so then it got to a point where I was in New York for they would fly me to New York. They would fly me to do this. They would do this and do that and all this stuff. And it was just me to do this interview, to do this presentation. And I was like, I was fifth, y'all, but like I became almost like the face of the season.
That's how I think of it.
Mm-hmm.
Stop. And it was crazy. And I remember that, of course, I got chummy with the head of the PR department, and she, at one point we went out for drinks afterwards, and she's like,
finally,
she goes, finally, she goes, I know you didn't ask, but I just wanted to let you know that, she told me this. She's like, other people were like, oh no, they thought they were too below, like they're not going to go fly to Idaho to do a fashion show for this, or they're not going to fly to host this, but you kept saying yes. Yeah. And so I stopped calling them. And yes. I just went to you. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, you did it, and you showed up on time, and you did you went beyond, and it wasn't like you just showed up and sleepwalked your way through it.
Yeah. You did really well at it.
You were a responsible hire.
Yes.
You're a responsible hooker.
Yeah, thank you. And so that really, really expanded my field. And I'd like to say that I did the show because because I was sort of thought of as an LA designer, a local designer, and I just wanted to. I didn't have the money to hire a PR. I didn't even know that this is what you're supposed to do. Right. Hire a PR and a fashion PR agency to prop you up.
Do the kids have that now?
Yeah.
Yes.
They have agents and they've got all the machine.
They have all the machine going on. I don't know where I don't know where they be getting the money for that, but because of afterwards when I did become more successful and everything after Project and all that, we did hire a PR agency, and I was like, that much a month? What? But they did good.
Yes.
For us, because otherwise I think that we wouldn't have not been, who knows, if Beyonce would have known who I was, or Katy Perry, if it wasn't for this PR agency that represented other designers, said, hey, take a look at this up and coming brand, Nicolaiki, Nick Verreos, boom, boom, boom. Anyway, so I just thought the Project Runway, this is why I did the show. I needed something to hopefully trampoline me to a higher ground. I to dress more women and make them look pretty. And while it did do that, but it opened up a new door that I didn't even know existed, which is then all of a sudden it was like TV Nick, or hosting Nick, and like once again, like this just totally opened up this new door that it's not why I did Project Runway for sure, but it became like this new window which I loved.
But isn't that kind
of
be part of? That's like the story of your life. All of these a little mentor here, a little nudge there, and the doors just kept opening.
Yes,
amazing.
I think going with the theme that and I'm not just saying because it's the name of your podcast, but I think that now I realize that I was in my own way saying, I'm happy to be here.
Yes. That's how we feel too. Just leading with gratitude. Just
listen, when you go in and you put your whole back into it, and when you do it with a good attitude, 90% of the time,
and some talent, by the way,
the doors do open, and you do find, I believe, other talents you never even knew you had, like your ability to hold a microphone. I mean, you would not believe, I'm sure you've seen this in your time, how many people we've seen, smart, intellectual, outgoing, well-spoken. You put a mic in their hand.
Oh, they get the Cindy Brady eyes.
You put a camera on them, and they're like,
yeah.
Can't speak, can't talk, can't engage. It's a skill set. And you learned that on top of all of your incredible accolades in fashion, which, I mean, that's amazing.
No, thank you. But you guys, let me just tell you what you guys do, what you did. I mean, first of all, when I found out that I had the chance to go on Evine and to finally go, to me, it was like, oh, I made it. She made it. To then, after all the stuff that I did, to like really, like I like to say, like really showcase my designs to, real women.
Yes.
And, when I say real, I hate, but, everybody's like, oh, do you just make stuff for size 0 winning, celebrities?
We're not all Amara.
No. And exactly. Right. Exactly. And I'm thinking of my mom. I'm thinking of David's mom. I'm thinking of all the moms in the world, or, the real women of America. And so to me, it was such a like, oh my God, somebody handed me this gift. I had to watch you guys to just, because I remember even though I did have that experience from traveling around being a spokesperson and doing all this stuff because of Project Runway and traveling to Idaho, Minnesota, and being on stage in front of 400 people, or like it still was, it was nervous. Obviously, I was nervous to be there, and it was going to be live, and and all that stuff. But to watch you guys, I remember just making sure that I did my homework by watching your shows and being on the treadmill for 45 minutes.
We kept a lot of people busy during their workouts.
Yeah, the workouts. But I did it as a form of education because I wanted to learn how other people did it right. And then, but again, to me, it was just so amazing. It's like you just said about me, it's not, you guys are it's such a gift. And it's so, I'm in awe of hosts like yourself and how you do that. And you do that live, and you do that without any and any no's and any, like, it's incredible, because sometimes I watch myself and I'm like, No. Yet you guys speak so eloquently, and you have such a gift and a knowledge, and to know of what you speak, and also come out relatable and friendly. And it's up. I'm just having coffee and tea with you. It is you do it so normal and so seamless. The people that is what that in. But I know people don't realize how hard and how unique it is. I know that it's not that ain't no, like y'all are
so sweet.
Y'all are supernatural creatures.
You're too good to
Where
us.
were you during the last administration and bosses though of that network? Where were you to talk to them and let them know that? Gosh, I should have called you.
By the way. No, I know. I know. Again, my time there, I remember. Of course, I remember you guys. I remember being with you, Wendy Russo.
Yes,
I had so much
icon.
Fun.
Yes.
Because once again, I loved it. It was my element. Again, it was like that sort of thing where like, you give me a light, give me a stage, tell me where to stand, and I'm just gonna vomit. I'm just gonna vomit, and
you're gonna like it.
And you're gonna like it. And to me, again, it was paying homage to my mommy and to all the mommies out there in the world, and all the women, and my love of women, my love of wanting to make women all be divas, and divas in a good way, and make them feel good. And then again, I just felt this is my natural state as a fashion designer, as somebody a pattern maker. I knew of what I speak, and so, and a lot of times, you watch a lot of the home shopping networks, and you have, a lot of people that say they're designers or they're, a TV personality. And we all know that there's a fashion design team behind them, but I felt I had added pressure because I'm like, I'm not that. I am actually I'm actually doing it. And it was so much so that I remember that when I was approached to do the line for Evine, that I gave the company that approached us, the people, I said, if you can remake some of my dresses, here we go.
Yes. Yes.
And so here are some of the dresses. We helped with that, so it wasn't like somebody just gave me somebody else's sketches and they're like, what do you think? Pick, pick. It wasn't that. It really was. It was my stuff. And I remember it was a lot of times, again, it was manufactured in China. And so then the thing is that we would give them our actual samples, and China did everything so by the littlest dot and comma that they came back, and it was like exact, but it was like, this is a $2,000 dress. So you can't, as you know.
And what was the price point? We were trying to be under 50. Under 40.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it was like $39.99.
And I bought one in every color.
Yeah, so I was like, oh no. And I remember like our person's like, Nick, can you I know this is going to take time, but can you not give them your actual samples, and can you give them can you remake the dress by making it, you get the essence of it, but you can't have all those seams.
Just
so you
give them
can't
the muslin.
Thank you. Yeah.
The jumpsuit that tied at the waist.
To
this day, I think that went down as the #1 jumpsuit in company history. I owned it. Every host owned it. We wore it at nauseum.
Yeah.
That was one of the original jumpsuits where you could cinch your own waist.
Bodies looked fantastic.
Everybody
looked 6 feet
skinny
tall.
up top. That was such a good jumpsuit.
Yeah.
I'll never. And the floral little bomber jacket, I wore that. I think I wore that until it had holes in it. I'm not even kidding. I wore it over and over again.
Such beautiful pieces.
But Nick, you're right, because
the red jumpsuit, sorry to interrupt you.
Go.
There's a photo. If you all Google it, you can just put Erin Newberg, Nick Verreos, Evine, and there's a photo, guys, of Erin in the red jumpsuit looking good. Even David, he goes, be sure to mention to Erin how much she loved that red jumpsuit.
I wore it all the time, even when we weren't working together. But it is important that you noted this, and I don't want to shade to anybody else by any means, because a lot of people are able. They take their name, they put it on a collection that somebody else created,
and then they walk away.
Sponsor it.
Yeah.
You and Mark Bauer were the two designers where I remember being like, oh, they're literally cutting and like creating these.
Yeah.
Because everybody else, and again, no shade to them, that's how it usually works, is the celebrity name comes in and sort of
slap your name on it.
A collection versus creates it. And I was so impressed with how the two of you always did that.
Yeah.
And then I have to tell you, Nick, I've never told you this because I was so embarrassed, but I've gotten to work with quite a few cool people in my career, Becky and you included, for sure.
Kind.
And you always get a little nervous. Like one of my all-time favorites, still very friendly with her, Vanessa Williams, obviously an absolute icon.
Yeah.
And I remember like when she came in for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, it's Vanessa Williams. But you meet her and you are respectful, and then we became friendly after quite some time of working together.
Right.
And that had happened with so many, Holly Robinson, Pete, Shaquille O'Neal, like so many people had come through the door. So I remember, do you remember your buyer at the time was Kesha, that you would work with like every day?
Yes, Kesha.
Okay, Kesha.
Yes,
she was
Kesha.
like your like buyer liaison. And then she had David, not your partner David, but David Miller, who worked above her. And anyway, Kesha was like, Erin, we have a new designer coming in, and I think you're the perfect person to launch this designer. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm really excited about this. And she's like, but I know you know this person and you're gonna be excited. I want to keep it a surprise. And I was like, okay. And again, I had worked with quite a few people. I had met quite a few people.
You didn't get starstruck though.
I was always starstruck, but I knew it was part of the job.
Yeah.
So we're in the model room and she's like, okay, the designer's here. You're gonna have a run through. And she's like, it's Nick Verreos. And Nick, I don't want to sound like a single white female by any means, but I was like, what? I fell to the ground. I'm like, I can't see him like this. I'm not dressed the way I imagined it. I don't have a heel on. Nick, I didn't stalk you, but I kind of stalked you because I loved Project Runway so much and you were such a huge hit. And she goes, what is wrong with you? Get up. She's like, you have a rehearsal. Get up. And I'm like, you need to tell me in advance it's Nick Verreos. Like, I needed to prepare for this. And all these years later to have you on the podcast is just such a blessing. Thank you so much. But you were as humble and as kind as and wonderful and fabulous. But I never told you that because I was so embarrassed.
No.
She was like slapping me. She's like, get it. She's like throwing cold water on me.
Oh, Erin. Oh, my God. I just want to cry.
Never told you that.
I can't wait to tell David. Oh, my God.
So
That's amazing. Again, if I only knew, such happy memories.
Also, before big social media. So it was also like you had this mystery about you. Because yes, there was social media, but it wasn't as prevalent as it was today.
Yeah.
Like now I feel like you almost know when people go to the bathroom at this point. You were still like this, you were like coming right off the Project Runway stages and like into our studio, and it was just it was amazing. So anyway, you will go down in history as my absolute biggest celebrity freak out of my career.
Oh, Erin,
walking into Studio A with you, Nick.
I'm so thankful for you guys. I'm thankful for Evine. After that, I got to go to QVC Italy, QVC UK. And also the shopping channel in Canada. So because of the success, I believe, well, this is what they told us, Kesha told, I believe like our launch at Evine, the Envy by Nick Verreos was, they said, the biggest launch at the time.
I can confirm that.
We did so good. But, again, I'm so thankful. David and I loved going to Minnesota. I have to tell you, we loved it so much. And we thought we were going to stay for the long, long run, honey, because, honey, we got ourselves a Sun Country card. And we were, let me give you a little stop.
You're a Terminal 2 type of guy.
Oh, honey, Terminal 2. And we were Sun Countrying it. Back and forth. And it was, we were doing it so much that all of a sudden there's a $40 upgrade. And we were clicking on the $40 upgrade to Sun Country. You have not lived, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, but to everybody out there, maybe but you have not lived until you have experienced experience the vintage Sun Country first class.
Is this back when they would brag about having a hot sandwich on every meal, on every flight too?
Yes.
They had hot sandwiches.
And, you know, like instead of like, you know, at American Airlines, they give you the hot nuts, you know, with a cocktail. They would give you a plate with cheese and grapes.
Oh.
That was the sun. And let me tell you, Becky and Aaron, Nick and David thought they were living it.
You thought Pan Am was fancy.
No. We were like this
so
kind of Minnesota hospitality is too much. So
Nick, will you talk about Sweet David for a little bit? Because he's been around, he's been along for the ride for the whole time, right?
Yeah. David has been, first of all, we've been together for 30 some odd years.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
And yeah, so we've been together for a long time, and he is my rock. He's been there from the beginning. We've been together, and he really, I know it sounds just so typical, but he really completes me. Where I'm hot and fire, he's not. And he's always the sane one, but he's always been there to support me and to be in the background. And, you know, whereas I may have been the face, he's becoming more of the face now, perhaps. But for all those years, like I said, I always said the line of like, you know, he's the one who pushed me, put me in the wheelchair, pushed me and popped the pills, you know, and gave me and handed me the martini and said, go, you know. But I always said, like, I may look like I'm, you know, I am the face and the one who, but if you want to get something done, talk to him. You know, like but it's I really don't know what I would have done without him. And we do it all together. And that's the beauty. Like with not just our designs and our collections and, you know, everything, you know, the events that I go in and when we travel and I have to do something and he's there preparing it for me. And then now, you know, writing all these books that we're writing, the draping book, the new pattern making book. It's like he's co-author. I mean, it's unbelievable the stuff that you know that he has learned how to do. I said he's an editor, he's a publisher, he's a this, he's a that. I mean, it's just you know, I don't think that he knew that this was the crazy ride that
that's what he signed up for.
That he signed up for, and you know, and basically, you know, he was doing his own. He was doing his own thing. Like when I was finishing Fitum and I was doing my, like what I was saying, like being an assistant designer or a pattern maker, he was out there. He was working with Andre Leon Talley of Vogue.
Wait, he was?
Vogue, yes. And he was assisting them and he was doing photo shoots with Kate Hudson.
That's it.
With
Her heart can't take it. So, Nick, her heart can't take it.
So he was styling. He was in there. He can give you some inside dish on, I mean, with all the top photographers for Vogue magazine, Elle Mag. So he was coming, he was doing that. And I don't want to say that he gave it up to then like really focus on Nick Verreos and Project Runway. But you know, when Project Runway happened, he was like, oh no, honey, bye-bye. This is where we're going. I'm getting on this bus. And for somebody to be that is, I know, and I recognize, because it's taken a lot, and that, you know, for him to join this crazy bus, and you know, we're, like I said, we're together to the end, and there's that's okay,
that's how we talk about you, Nick and David, David Nick, like it's just one name. It's just
totally exactly. I threw my microphone down. I can't handle all this amazingness. It's just too much. It's too much for the little girl from Wisconsin who used to only wear a jelly shoe and a Rainbow Bright magnet belt, thinking that would get me on the cover of Vogue. It's just too much for my little girl fashion heart to handle.
It's so impressive, Nick. It really is. So we talked about the books a little bit.
Well, yeah. So will you tell us how right now you've got a book out, you've got a YouTube series out, obviously your podcast you have out, you're casting for the new season of Project Runway. Don't be surprised if I show up with Amara after this.
You know, and the funny with the casting, we actually, after I'm done with you, we have a whole new set of designers to take a look.
So are you guys signed up for the next season? You and David will be consulting producers.
Yes. So we're excited about that. But you know, the first step is actually having to pick who the designers
Wow.
are, and our voice, because of course casting, there's a lot of people in the casting process, that pick or take care. David and I are there to give our fashion voice.
Nice.
And so, basically, they, of course, there's people that they're looking at different things. Are they good on camera?
Right.
Are they good? Are they personable? What's their backstory?
Yes.
Do they have, because of course it is a TV show after all.
It's still
guys.
entertainment. Yep,
Yeah,
it's entertainment.
It's still entertainment. Newsflash.
Yes.
So you could be as talented as you are, but the minute, then all of a sudden, we say, can you film a video? And then all of a sudden they're just,
Yeah,
exactly.
Or their garment is pinned up the back. They look great and their Instagram looks great, but nothing's actually made properly.
That too. And so our job, David and I, is to give each designer a grade and to give our comments of what we think of the designers, and where they land. The difficult thing is we can't really see the garments, where in the past, I did about, I don't know, maybe 10 seasons, guys, where they flew me. This was in the pre-COVID days, where they flew me to all these different cities, Seattle, Chicago, New York, to judge the castings. And we would have the designers like the way that I showed up.
Yeah.
Whereas now they just have to submit, a portfolio with their photos, and we look at their Instagram. That's now so important.
Of course. Yes.
And so, I try to tell the kids to especially if this is the brand that you're trying to put out as a fashion designer, here's another Nick tip and trick to try to clean it up and edit it, not have photos of you in Vegas going, woohoo!
Nick, you don't know why that's so funny, because we have an episode.
I accidentally made that sign once. Okay. I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
We'll tell you off air.
Great news. I didn't post it on my Instagram. Great news.
We've done, trust me.
Just on the podcast.
We've done that. We've done that because there's many times where, again, God bless David. That's why I love him. Where I'm about to post something and he literally just sort of takes me aside and be like, do people really need to see those dumplings? Do they really need to see those dumplings from you? And so
Obviously.
it's that kind of thing. So he's basically taken it over, and he's like, no, we're putting fashion, we're putting our book, we're putting stuff, you relate, put the dumplings in your story.
The edamame can wait.
Open up a fake Facebook.
Stop. And so, so we have to go through the Instagram and do that. So that's our job, and to just say to the TV casting people, hey, because they might be like, well, that looks cool to me. That looks, and we're like, oh,
they don't know.
No, it's
honey,
a hot mess behind it.
But the benefit
in the past was before you could see the garments.
Yes.
Yeah,
amazing.
you could see. You could. There were many times where Tim Gunn and I would be like, you would know if they did it or not.
Ooh.
Oh, I never even thought about it that way.
Did anybody ever try to hustle that they tried to pass off somebody else?
100%. 100. We knew right away. Because first of all, the garments, and especially if you have not just me, but also Tim Gunn next to me during these castings, where because we know, I mean, he was also the head of Parsons. When those samples are just too perfectly made. There's a fine line between, oh, that's perfect and it's well made, to then, no, you paid $1,000 to a seamstress to make it.
Yeah.
And
Maria's back in business.
Yeah,
and we know that fine line. Like, it's just like, it's a je ne sais quoi. You just have to and we knew, and we would say, hey, we would kind of go around and asking the questions as opposed to like outright ask. Y'all didn't make this, right? Like, that kind of thing. Or we would just say, hey, do you have sample makers? We would say little things like that. We would finish the interview, and then of course after they left, we would be like, they didn't make that. And again, a casting producer can say, but you know, they were so amazing on you know, they were so cray or so great that let's put them on the show and let them drown there.
Let them fail on air.
Oh,
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Let him struggle there. Wait, is Tim Gunn as sweet and kind as we imagine?
Yes. And I know all the viewers, I'm sure some of your viewers, everybody I know when the show, it was just, you know, this last season when we came back on and Heidi Klum was announced, everybody's like, where's Tim? Where's Tim? You know, everybody wanted him to, you know, come back. I have no information on that.
Okay. I mean, Christian Siriano is amazing as well.
He really is.
Yes.
But Tim Gunn is the nostalgia.
Right. The OG.
It's the whole, you know, yes, people love Christian Siriano. I always like to say that the Project Runway fans, there's two layers of them, or two kind of fans. And it's like you have this sort of the Gen Z generation of fans, and then you have like our age, the Facebook generation. And you know, us that and those are the ones like commenting on Facebook, where's Tim? Where's Tim? You know, but yes, the time that we had with Tim, the time that I had, he was always so generous, so lovely, incredible. Soon after the show, soon after I ended on season 2, back in 2006, we became friends, and he turned to David and I, and he goes, "Come over to my house. We're having drinks."
How lovely.
I mean, so there we were in his pied-à-terre, in his townhouse. He literally lived next to Sarah Jessica Parker's apartment of Sex and the City.
Why are you living my dream life?
The famous Sex and the City apartment.
They had to kick people off the stoop.
Yes.
Like we're walking by and I'm like, what? Is that what I think it is? Anyway, I don't think he lives there anymore. But that is what a gentleman he was. And so he didn't have to do that. And he didn't have to pick me out of the other 12 designers, but he picked David and I. And he was just so generous with us, so lovely, so friendly. Every time I saw him, when all of a sudden I hadn't seen him in 6 months and we had to end up in Chicago to do castings, and he'd be, Nick.
Yes.
Perfect posture always. Like yes.
Yeah. And just perfect. And Nick, you know, how's David? You know, it was always, I'm like, what am I, chopped liver? What am I? It's always, how's David? I'm like, hello, you want to know about my blood pressure? Hello. Yes, he is as nice, as lovely, as sweet. And if only I could have the vocabulary that man has in his brain. David and I always thought of him and how Tim Gunn would do it. When we became chairpersons of the fashion department at FIDM, we always thought we were sort of like, when are they going to find out that we don't belong here? You know, we were almost like, you know, because we tried to like, how would Tim Gunn do this? Or how would he say, you know, and of course we said we can't be Tim Gunn. And I have to say it in my own Nick way, or David has to say it in his own David way. But he was such a, you know, he was a mentor on the show for me, but then without him realizing, he also became a mentor for both David and I in terms of how he acted, how he spoke, and especially how he mentored other, you know, people in the fashion industry and the words that he said to them. Whereas I would say it a little more, I guess, non-elegantly. He would always.
So his was make it work. What was yours?
Yeah. Oh, what was mine? Oh God.
Bitch, please.
Do you?
Oh, I like do you.
That is one of my advices. I would say, you know, if you ask me, like, what would you tell the youngums and you know, and people wanting to go into the industry or people wanting to go into fashion design, you know, I always say, be authentic. And be yourself. And what I think David and I learned, especially at FIDM as chairpersons for the youngums, for the young generation of fashion designers going out there, is you have to tell your story.
Yes.
And you have to do it in an authentic way. Because especially nowadays with the phone and the Instagram, like that is your website. Like that is your portfolio. And people, like I always say, like, I say this, I have got like 30 pairs of Gucci loafers. I don't need another Gucci loafer.
Do something
But
different.
you know why? What sells it to me is the story.
Yes.
You know? And so that's what we say. Same thing with like, you don't need a $800 Balenciaga hoodie, but you're buying the story. Then you like think like, oh yeah, totally. I'm paying $800 for a cotton hoodie, you know? Like, and so we try to tell the kids to be authentic, tell what is your story, because that's going to differentiate you from everybody else, and especially in this very crowded market. And that is something that I learned also through Evan and through the shopping networks too, that you have, who are you? You know, because that's what they want. Like, what makes you different from that TV chef that now is selling clothes, or you know, like you have to tell you have to have your story. And so I literally, I had to come up. But it was an authentic story, and of course it was about my mom, and it was about watching my mom as a little 8-year-old boy getting dressed and being J-Lo before she was J-Lo, and I wanted to make now everybody feel like that, and it was authentic, and that's why I say because a lot of times now this sort of generation of kids, I sound like an old grandpa.
We hear you.
You know, they don't even have the vocabulary to tell that story. And so we want to say, like, what makes you unique? And so that was something that we really spent a lot of time with at FITM that wasn't spent before with the kids, with our students, that we realized, because we spoke to them. They would have portfolio presentations, and it would be like, and then we'd be like,
painful.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, it was almost like a Project Runway casting.
Yes.
Like, tell me about your life. Tell me about who did you wrong when you were 14. I actually want to know who bullied you when you were 14.
Why do you have this motivation?
Yeah.
Yes. And before you know it, all of a sudden, like, this pain and this whatever comes up, and then all of a sudden I look at their sketches and their ideas, and there's like wrapped around rope and pain, and I'm like, hello.
There's the story.
That's right.
Anyway, that's one thing that I always like to say. I don't know how I got on that. I'm sorry.
No, because that's your motto. Do you. Like,
Yes.
Tim Gunn's like, you better make it work. Your motto's do you. We always talk about that. I watch so many, because technically I'm a host and Becky was a guest, and I would watch so many people to come in and try to be the guest expert. And what they would do is they would do their best impression of Becky. And I'm like, well, then you just failed. Do you, to your, to Nick's advice, be authentic to you. And the people that had their own point of view, and the people that read a garment from what they liked about it or why they thought women would like it, always ended up doing better than the girls who would just try to do an impression of Becky. Yeah. Because I'm like, you're just doing an impression of somebody. You're not really telling me your point of view. So we concur with you, mister. We could talk for 10 hours. We're going to have to do this again. Next time I say Becky and I fly out to LA and do it from your studio, we'll bring our equipment.
Perfect.
But will you tell us too, you've got a book, you've got a podcast, you've got a YouTube series, and I know the ladies would love to follow along with all of those.
Oh,
so will you run us through them?
Where do we see the dumplings?
Yeah.
I know. Where do you see the dumplings? Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. My name, Nick Verreos. Okay. And same thing with TikTok. My name, Nick Verreos. Facebook, same thing, Nick Verreos. And then, of course, we've got a podcast. Go to YouTube. And we're the Fashion Daddies.
Yay! Such a good follow.
Yay!
Yes.
So David and I are the Fashion Daddies. And we actually started this because last season, the designers,
so good.
They started calling us the Fashion Daddies. Yes. And they ran around, they were running around. They couldn't live without us because we're like in the back. We do so much as consulting producers, and we're there doing every filming, doing everything.
Are you really there for all filming?
All filming.
Is it exciting and fun?
Yeah. It's exciting, and it can be long days, long hours, and but we love it. But it can get crazy.
Is there a little drama sometimes?
Huh?
Any drama sometimes?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I mean, there's drama. Okay. There's times again, and there's one time we had a tie-dye challenge, and we had to keep the designers in the design room where they film overnight. And so they got cots. They got cots for them because they had to let the tie-dye dry.
Yeah.
they couldn't just leave and go back to their apartments. And then I was one of the, as a consulting producer, I felt it was my job to stay there with them. Oh, so I literally stayed up all night. I had the cot, but it's like by then you've already had like 18 shots of espresso and coffee, and, you know. And then also like one time it was almost 11 o'clock and everything is quiet. They're just winding down. We're all tired. We want to go home. David and I want to go home. And they said they're going to wrap in like 30 minutes. So, you know, I'm like, David, order DoorDash.
Yes,
now.
totally.
You know?
You are the daddies. That's so cute.
We are the daddies. And all of a sudden, I remember we heard the most guttural, utter yell and scream reverberating in this huge, where we were filming in Brooklyn. One of the designers had stabbed herself with a sewing. She sewed.
Her skin? Her finger?
Oh.
It went through the machine? An industrial machine.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So then is it the fashion daddies to the rescue? Like you two?
No, well, we everybody started running around. And so we had to go find the medic, you know, for them. Anyway, so we're there.
Wow.
With a lot
that
of
is
drama,
hands-on.
a lot of craziness. You know, a lot of times this last season, a couple of the designers, they left. They literally walked out of the show.
Oh.
Of course, cameras followed, and they were like, I'm done. Yeah. I think it was filmed.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the twins in this last season, and walked out of the show.
It's a housewife move now.
We are all like, oh, what do we do? You know, you know, a lot of times we have to fix the machine. Thank goodness we don't do that now. But before, when there was nobody, I mean, the serger would break, and somehow it became my job to fix the industrial serger. Yeah. And there we are. They're filming. It's live. They can't stop. And here come. They're like telling me, Nick, go in there. And I'm like, it's a hot set. And so there I am looking a hot mess.
Never.
You know, I do not have my makeup on. And so then I'm like, I walk in, and if you know a serger, it takes a good 30, 45 minutes to wind
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
do we need to do Where's Waldo? Do we have to look for you in some of the shots?
Yeah, you do sometimes. But it's all there. So now the thing is, the designers are like, oh, we need the fashion, we need more interfacing, or we need this, or we ran out of muslin. And so they're like, they tell, you know, they say, go, can you get the fashion daddies? Can you get the fashion? So that's how the name came about. So we have a fashion daddy. We started our fashion daddy Instagram, but then it became into a podcast. And so that's where it came. And we talk about fashion. We talk about figure skating costumes, which we love.
Yes.
And, you know, it first just started out with giving a recap of each episode from our viewpoint, our unique consulting producer viewpoint, without giving too much information, obviously. But, you know, that's how it started out. So we have that. We just released our brand new published book, The Basics of Pattern Making for Fashion Design, which I believe is right
it's
here.
Right there. Yep.
Right there. Mm-hmm. And it's on Amazon.com. And in fact, that was, I think, 2 weeks ago, and it's doing really, really well.
Congratulations.
And we released the hard copy. It is so, and I'm not just saying it because we did it, but trust me, I've gone through some pattern making books, and there was one that was 450 pages. This is only, ours is 450. The other one was like 600 pages. Wow. But every page is color. I personally, here at the studio, photographed every single like part of each exercise that you have to do.
Wow.
So literally every single stage. When I would look at these books, these pattern books, I remember even after I went to school, I would look at them and be like, connect G to A, what? I don't know. Wait, how is that? And why? Why is that armhole not supposed? And I wanted to do it for the other Nicks and Nikitas to make it make sense. And give it in a way that they can understandable with every image. I say it's like having your own teacher in front of you. Like you're literally, the whole book is an entire year. It's more than just a quarter, a semester, several of a whole entire pattern fashion making courses. So nice. But each and every step, think about this, guys, is in there. So literally, when I say cut a piece of pattern paper this size, there's a photo of it. Draw this line to connect you. Here's a photo of it. I have it all for each, so you don't, it's almost like you can go back. It's almost like watching YouTube, but pressing pause, but it's all in the book. and I wanted to do it for that. And I think that's why it's so far it's selling well.
So
and
valuable.
I wanted to do that. So we're very excited about the book. And then we have our Nick Verreos Fashion School. So then on top of that, we have our, you can enroll in fashion classes, and I have videos for creating basically it's the first year of a fashion school. So it's like creating and draping a basic bodice, creating your own sleeve, like all the basics. So I give you all these videos, that you can have if you want it for a month, you want it for 3 months. It's basically you're going to fashion school by taking the Fashion School with Nick Verreos VIP access. And you can go to nickverreos.com for that. So you can go to school or you can get the book and
I want to
still
register.
go to school.
I want to register and do it.
Such a teacher at heart,
and fulfill those dreams when I was little of making my own clothes.
But even for a home sewer, I think that would be terrific.
Oh my God. I think people are going back to books, going back to making I know, listen, there's a whole nother trad wife trend right now. And I'm not talking necessarily about that trend, but I think a lot of us really want good quality. We want to be more mindful. We want to have a little bit more ownership over what's happening.
More sustainable.
Learning how to make your own clothes. Like that, just genius at any age. I think young girls and us older ladies alike.
Well, do they even have home economics anymore?
I don't know. It's not called that.
In a lot of the top LA schools, the ones that like parents have to pay like $100,000 a year, and it's a public school though, but there's a guest list.
Yes.
They have fashion. They have fashion classes now. It's not home ec anymore.
Ooh. Good for them.
Like Bel Air High School or Beverly Hills High School has their own like high school fashion program. So it's, but like, just like you said, it is not just for somebody, who wanting a young person wanting to be going to fashion school. It's, somebody who just loves fashion, who wants to make clothes. Those are my followers. And those are that book. I say that book is for you. When you go on my YouTube channel that I show how to do the videos, you can subscribe to it. That is who is watching the show. How do I know? Because I know the analytics and I know they comment and they tell me, so I'm not talking about, these are like students at Parsons who need extra help.
Yes.
This is like, a quote unquote housewife in Wisconsin who like wants to make their own clothes, and they don't want to pay $70,000 a year to go to Parsons to let them make it. And that's the beauty of, YouTube and Instagram and doing all that stuff. Where you can learn. And that's why we really did the Fashion School VIP, because you can only show so much on YouTube for 12 minutes.
Yes, of course.
And always the comments were like, I want to see more. Or, oh, can you show me how to do that? And I'm like, you're going to pay for it. You're going to have to pay.
That was just the amuse bouche.
Right. I'm not sitting on a cot for nothing. You're going to pay for this experience.
The hors d'oeuvres.
Yes. So, Nick, can we do this again, please? Could we?
Yes, please.
Promise? And maybe David can stop by. Like, if we just show up at your studio one day, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We'll
knock.
We'll bring all of our equipment. I did tell you that single white female story. I don't want you to be afraid of me.
No, please show up and I'll show you our other room that is filled with Evine samples.
Is it really?
We're going into the vault.
Show.
We're going into the vault.
We're going to have a runway show.
No, David and I bought them as well.
Yes.
Well, we bought them for our moms and, but of course, just for, archival purposes.
Yes. I wish I still had all of mine for archival purposes.
Oh.
But I wore them. Oh, like you would.
I got the red jumpsuit, Erin. I got the red jumpsuit. I got the moto jackets that sold out. I got the jersey printed like jogger pants.
Yeah. Oh,
those were so great.
You remember those jogger pants?
Yes, you were the first one to do a floral jersey print jogger.
Yes, the floral.
Yes, I'll never forget it.
Becky, it just rolls off her mouth.
I know
she's like she said, like mushroom risotto.
This isn't her.
Like the floral jersey, the floral. Come again?
I love it.
You were in your happy place.
I really am. Yeah. Like, this is the most giddy I've been in a year.
Yes.
Nick, thank you so much.
I'm sorry about
You bring joy.
I really really apologize, girls, but I
apologize for what? What are you
I
apologizing
had
for?
fun.
You are a
I had
delight.
fun.
Thank you so much.
We have had so much fun with you. We definitely have to do a follow-up maybe
Yes.
in the new year, even if we don't get ourselves out to LA. We'll do like a follow-up for sure, because we definitely have to catch up now on the next season of Project Runway and do follow-ups on where everything's going. And of course, Fashion Daddies. So friends, we will list in all of... Everything in the show notes is listed where you can follow Nick. But I think all of us, So Happy You're Here girls, we need to go give Fashion Daddies a big follow.
That's right.
And we need to all go get that book. And we should start doing like our own little contests we'll do our own little mini Project Runways here.
I'll just pin you and I'll create little looks. Yeah.
Yes. So please give our best to David. Thank you so much for being here. We have about 10 more hours to discuss. So we'll get a follow up on the.
Yes.
But we're so happy you're here, Nick. Thank you.
Me too. Thank you guys. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
If you want to move better, if you want to feel better, if you want to perform better, and who doesn't, you've got to check out Daily Fascia. Daily Fascia is one of our original supporters. It is brought to you by Erin Teets. And what she does is she helps relieve aches and pains with fascia-focused activations. She is a best-selling DailyOM course creator who does personalized sessions that help you feel your absolute best. You can check her out on Instagram, Patreon, or YouTube. And when you do, use the code HAPPY20 to let her know that we sent you and to get a special discount exclusive to our listeners. You guys, do us a huge favor, please. Will you like this podcast, share it, or subscribe? Because that helps, right, Bex?
It will help us a ton.
It will. And I don't know if we've helped you, but if you don't mind helping us, that'd be great.
Fair's fair.
Love you.